Welcome everyone to our guest internet presentation for hospitality businesses. And the guest internet is going to enable guests to get a better Wi-Fi internet service. And I'm going to explain how during the course of this presentation. First, a little bit of information about our company, Fire 4 Systems. We have three brands: Guest Internet, Orthonet Cybersecurity, and EasyWisp. Guest Internet was created as a product in 2010, and since then it's been very successful, used in over 65 countries by tens of thousands of businesses, and it has really helped a lot of hospitality businesses to provide a better internet service. This has been important since the start of the pandemic. A lot more people requiring a better internet service as they travel around, and the businesses that work with guest internet products are able to do that. Orthonet Cybersecurity is cybersecurity products for small businesses, and EasyWisp is a brand to provide management systems for wireless internet service providers. The presentation today is divided in a number of sections, and they're listed there in the contents. I'll go through each section and then explain what we're doing. The premise of the presentation is that travelers expect that hospitality businesses provide a good Wi-Fi internet service, because now it's part of the travel experience. People want to maintain the connection to friends and family. They want to use social media, and now more than ever, people are working remotely and working remotely in vacation destinations. And so the service that businesses provide for the Wi-Fi internet has become very important, and it's a deciding factor for many people when they're making decisions about their travel plans. So internet Wi-Fi is essential today for hospitality guests. I've listed a few of the places where they have Wi-Fi internet: motels, hotels, resorts, retail, restaurants, coffee bars, airports. And there are some businesses that offer a Wi-Fi service, but they charge for this service. Businesses like internet cafes, marinas, campgrounds, RV parks, Wi-Fi on aircraft, cruise ship Wi-Fi, trade shows, and maybe even hotels that charge for a high-speed internet, and airports that maybe give 30 minutes of free internet and then charge at hourly rates. The characteristics of public Wi-Fi are different to the type of wireless network that we have in businesses. The one common feature is that the Wi-Fi signal is not encrypted. A business network, you may well know, has WPA2 encryption, and so Wi-Fi networks providing a service for the public can sometimes be tampered with. Someone can monitor the data that's going over that network using hacking software, and maybe capture information from people using it. And this is why it's always recommended that anyone using a public hotspot should have a VPN, virtual private network connection, to encrypt their data. Some manufacturers like Apple make it difficult for their devices to be used with public Wi-Fi because they know the risks involved in that type of connection. However, in many cases, this is the only type of Wi-Fi that's offered, and so people have to use it. Guest Internet has many thousands of customers, tens of thousands of customers, And some of the customers are listed here, and these include hospitality businesses of every type, hotel chains, campground chains, and also restaurant chains. That is not a complete list of customers. The list is very extensive. I'll speak now about guest internet products. And first, let's start with a review of the characteristics. Well, the benefits. The products are very fast to install, easy to configure. There's no limit to the number of users. It's easy for users, so there is very little customer service required. It's easy to customize. It's easy to create login page options. The business can push information through the login page. The business can provide a free, charge, or even a partially free and charge internet service. There is options on some of the products to create VLAN configurations, which means that a hotel, for example, can build one wireless network and use that network both for guests and staff, and the guests and staff are isolated over that network. We have products that have a throughput up to 1 gigabit per second, and we can make custom products where they're required up to 10 gigabits per second as a special order. We have a free cloud service for remote management, free lifetime software upgrades, and free online technical support. And I think the most important factor is that there's no need for technical training for these products. A deep technical knowledge is not required. Basically, it's enough to understand how to use a computer. A lot of the motel installations have been done by the motel managers, not by IT people, which illustrates how easy it is to install these products. There are the protection and control characteristics, which are also essential for businesses. All guest internet products have a firewall, so the business is protected from hackers, even though the guest internet service might be connected to the same internet circuit as the point of sale. And so it complies with the requirements of the payment card industry data security standard. We have features which block computers with viruses like denial of service. We have features that can prevent sharing of copyrighted files using torrent software. We can set the maximum data speed per user so that we can share the bandwidth. And we also have the ability to set data limits for each user. We're able to filter websites individually or in categories. We can allow access to websites without logging in, and we can also block access to websites after login. We have failure monitoring. We can monitor wireless access points for failure that are connected to the gateway. And we can also monitor the gateway for failure and monitor the ISP connection to the gateway. And if a failure occurs, we get an alarm sent to us. And there are several different login methods, and I've noted 5 here. Agree to the terms and conditions, request an access code, request user information as part of the login process, free access with firewall rules, and online credit card charge with a billing report. We have some other methods as well that businesses use. So the basic features. Many businesses want to provide Wi-Fi internet for guests and visitors, usually with the following characteristics: an open access point that anyone can connect to, a customized login page to identify the business, issue access codes to control who gets access to the internet, and possibly charge for use of the internet. And there are different products on the market that can manage guest Wi-Fi, but without doubt, guest internet is the simplest and easiest to use. It offers more features than any other type of product for a wider range of applications. Guest internet has support with knowledgeable engineers, which is very unusual for this type of product. And Guest Internet has no other costs after purchase. There's no upgrade fees, no annual license fees, nothing. And we have advanced features which customers can take advantage of. The customized login page, it's very easy to customize the login process, create a wall garden, which allows the company to project an image of the business through the Wi-Fi service. We have very high performance products. And so if an application requires several thousand people to have internet access, our products support that. Obviously, it's necessary to have several gigabits of internet access to support several thousand people. We have failure monitoring and alerting, even failure monitoring of third-party products, which is very unusual. We have application program interfaces, and these allow integration with third-party products, such as property management systems. And we have two types of APIs, one on each gateway and a second API that's based on our cloud service. We have online support for customers and engineering support for managed service providers and systems integrators. Guest Internet products are compatible with all types of network equipment on the market. A few are listed there. Some network equipment, such as Ruckus and Ubiquiti, require a controller installed in the network, and Guest Internet has the features to allow access to the controller that controls these devices. Now, there are many different types of hospitality businesses. A few are listed here: campgrounds, RV parks, from bed and breakfast, hostels, boutique hotels, hotels and motels with hundreds of users, and large resorts with thousands of users. And there's a product in the Guest Internet range for every one of these businesses. Now, the cloud management system, which I'll tell you about in a while, permits many gateways to be managed as part of a group. And so a large hotel chain can manage all hotels in the chain from a central location. And it also offers a facility to manage a number of gateways as a group so that large-scale implementations that require thousands of people to connect can also be managed. A small hospitality business can be maybe a bed and breakfast, a restaurant, and we have a small wireless gateway product that will work very well in that type environment. And it has all the features of the larger products. Larger installations that might have multiple access points include hotels, resorts, shopping malls. And so there is no limit to the number of access points that can be connected to a guest internet gateway to provide coverage throughout the property, even though that property might be very large and require several hundred wireless access points. Providing Wi-Fi internet for some areas is a challenge. For example, RV parks and campgrounds. They require open air installations, and the distances are far, and so they require, in addition to wireless access points, point-to-point links to distribute the Wi-Fi internet throughout the area. And a typical RV park or campground might cover several acres in size. Here's a summary of larger scale projects. Hotel groups might require some types of customization, and we help people with that. Large RV parks and campgrounds also require sometimes customization to meet the exact requirements that they have. We have other types of events, such as trade shows, where our customers have to provide different types of Wi-Fi service for different types of user. For example, the trade show administrators want one type of Wi-Fi access for management purposes. The people who have booths at the trade show require Wi-Fi access for their demonstrations, maybe, or just to stay in touch with the office. And then there's visitors. The event might decide to give limited free access to visitors, but then charge visitors for extended access. And guest internet can handle that type of situation. Airports are another area where guest internet products are very popular because they have specific requirements that guest internet products support. Typically, international airports might provide 30 minutes of free Wi-Fi in a period of 24 hours to a visitor, so the visitor can check airline schedules, and then charge for the Wi-Fi at hourly rates. Airports also have agreements with providers like Boingo, for example, who provide a subscription Wi-Fi service. And so they can integrate with the guest internet product using the API. And so one product can provide free limited Wi-Fi at a slow speed, can allow people to purchase access to the internet at hourly rates, or users who have a subscription with a company like Boingo can enter the subscription information in order to get internet access. One of the areas where we're very active is to support large-scale project implementation. We work with systems integrators who are developing projects, and we can help them with advice about the guest Wi-Fi system. The systems integrators are obviously concerned not only about the guest Wi-Fi system, but also about other systems that are required for the application. And the guest internet technical architecture was designed to be very scalable. Everything from a small coffee bar up to a hotel chain with thousands of properties. And so this scalability is very easy to use by the people who are building out the applications. Now, a quick review of the guest internet product range. The product range is divided into 4 categories. The first is wireless products. There are 4 wireless products. The next is business products, and there are 3 of those. We have next the pro products, the products that offer high performance for larger applications. And then finally, the peripherals. We have the thermal printer, which is used in some applications. This table illustrates the characteristics for each type of product. You can see that the 4 wireless products have different applications. The GISK1 is a wireless router suitable for indoor applications. Additional wireless access points can be plugged into the LAN ports. The GISK3 is a directional outdoor wireless access point. It has a directional antenna. And so that's suitable for fixed wireless access applications where a business might have connections to other buildings or to homes to provide internet access. The GISK5 is an indoor product with an omnidirectional antenna, ceiling mounted, and that can be installed in multiple units to cover a large area, and that has very specific applications in larger buildings, shopping malls, for example. And we have the GISK7, which is a high power outdoor unit with an omnidirectional antenna, and that's ideal for applications where a number of mobile devices are being connected, for example, in a trade show or some outdoor event. Then we move on to the gateway products. We have the GISR2, which is the entry-level gateway product, which has the basic features that a business needs to offer a Wi-Fi service. The GIS R4 offers a higher performance and also has features like credit card billing. The GIS R6 expands on that and has dual WAN so that two WAN ports can be connected, increasing the reliability, because if one of the WAN ports fails, then users are transferred to the other WAN port. Dual WAN also permits the some of the bandwidths available from both ISPs, and so the performance for users is improved. The GIS R10 is a higher performance unit, 400 megabits per second throughput, again, a dual WAN product. The GIS R20, higher performance still, 600 megabits per second with a dual WAN. The GIS R40 is a 1 gigabit per second throughput product, and this has 4 WAN ports, so can be used for very large applications. Finally, the GIS TP1 is a thermal printer that's used to print access codes or receipts for many types of applications. Let's look now at some network configurations for hospitality businesses. First, the software that's installed on each guest internet gateway is actually part of the system. The second part of the system is the cloud. First, I'll tell you about the software on the gateway. The current software offers very high performance, and it's worthwhile noting that some of the older products can be upgraded to the new software. So any business that has the older software installed should contact us to check if the new software is available for that product. Login page customization is very popular, and it's possible to build a customized login page, or indeed a walled garden where the login page is part of the business website. And so people can navigate the business website, and only if they want to go to a different website, they see the login box, either to agree the terms and conditions or to provide the access code. The login page can be customized very easily using HTML, JavaScript if it's necessary, and can be more complex. For example, a walled garden can pull down images from the business website. Guest internet products have a number of different authentication methods. Some are listed here. The login page can have a button to agree to the terms and conditions. The login page can have a box to enter an access code, and the access code is provided by the business, the hospitality business. Another option is to purchase an access code online using a credit card. Yet another option is to request the guest to provide login information in order to connect to the internet. We have another option where the user can have free access for a specified time, followed by purchased access. We also have a free access mode that's used by condominiums where there's no login page, but all the firewall rules are applied, which limits the speeds, the data, and so it allows condominiums to share one internet service between all the residents. We also have an option to authenticate the guest using a MAC code, so we can actually use the MAC in two different ways in order to authenticate the device. This is necessary because, for example, a hotel might have internet TVs in the room, and so those TVs need to be able to connect to the guest Wi-Fi system, but then they're not going to log in, and so we can give them a MAC authorization in order for devices like TVs to connect to the internet. An important feature of guest internet gateways is the ability to share one internet service between many people. And this is done by imposing a number of restrictions on the users, for example, data speed restrictions, data volume restrictions, in order to share the service. If the service were simply unshared, unmanaged, then many people connecting to one wireless internet service will eventually cause network congestion, and that's going to reduce the performance of the internet. People are going to get disconnected and be very unhappy about that. With a managed service, everyone who connects to the internet service gets a reasonable service, shares the single connection to the internet, and will be very happy with the internet service. The hospitality business can improve the service by increasing the speed of the internet connection. Redundancy is a very important feature. In fact, some hotel franchises require the internet service for the guests to have dual WAN, that is, two different ISP connections. And so the diagram shown here is the GISR 40 with four different ISP connections. We have the DSL cable or fiber connection. We have a satellite connection with the Starlink antenna. We have a 4G LTE or 5G modem, which provides us with another internet connection. And then we have an ISP, point-to-point antenna, or WISP, wireless internet service provider. And so the bandwidth available for the guests is the sum of those four bandwidths. And so it's very easy to provide a much higher bandwidth for the guests and improve the performance of the network for the guests. And that's called load balancing. So the guest internet products have load balancing. Guest internet products also have failover, which means that if one of those circuits fails, what's going to happen is that the guests connected to that circuit are then swapped over to other circuits that are working. And so the guests might see a momentary loss of network connection during the switch, but then the internet connection is restored for the guest. Another important application for hospitality businesses is the dual use Wi-Fi. The guest internet products have a VLAN, the Pro products. And so we can configure a wireless network for use by both guests and staff, and they're both isolated on the same wireless network. We do this by configuring two SSIDs, two wireless beacons on each wireless access point. One SSID is not encrypted. The other SSID for the staff is encrypted. The guests connect to the unencrypted wireless access point and are routed through to the login screen, and a firewall prevents them accessing the business network. The staff, on the other hand, pass through the guest internet product and connect to the business network. Now the guests get an IP address from the guest internet product. The staff get an IP address from the IP server in the back office network. And so they're basically on two completely different subnets, and they're isolated by the firewall in the guest internet product. I mentioned the ability of guest internet products to have multiple logins. This is a diagram which illustrates an application such as an airport, where we offer various types of login services for the guest. In the case of an airport, it might be limited free internet, that is limited duration with very limited access speed. We offer also a login for the guest to purchase time at an hourly rate and get a faster internet speed. And then also a login for any business that provides a subscription service and integrates with the guest internet gateway, so that the guest can log in with a Boingo code or similar in order to get the service. Reliability for any type of public internet service is extremely important. If the service fails, the guests will complain and the management will be concerned that the guests might give bad reviews, and also they need to solve the problem very quickly. The guest internet system monitors all the network products at two levels. Each guest internet gateway can monitor the devices attached to the LAN ports, and these are the wireless access points. And so the wireless access points can be checked for failure. If one of them fails, then the guest internet product sends an alert, an email alert to the system administrator. Using the guest internet cloud, the guest internet gateway is monitored for failure, and also the link to the guest internet gateway, the ISP service. And so if there's a failure in any one of those two, the cloud will send an alert message to the administrator. Monitoring wireless access points is very important because it's not easy to identify when one has failed. For example, if a building has, let's say, 10 wireless access points, then if one fails, what will happen is those guests will connect to a different wireless access point, which is further away. So the internet speed will be slower, and maybe the other access point that's further away will get overloaded with too many people connecting to it. And so it would degrade the performance of the network. So there's no indication that a wireless access point is failed. The only indication is that the hotel manager is going to receive complaints that the internet is slow in one part of the building. Now, with the guest internet system and the monitoring that it provides, then the failure can be pinpointed. The message that's sent out identifies what device has failed and where that device can be found, so that a service technician can go immediately and exchange the equipment that failed. I mentioned the guest internet firewall. Now, this is very important for many businesses. All hospitality businesses receive payments in credit cards. They have a point of sale system. The property management system can also receive credit card payments. And there is a requirement by the payment card industry that all businesses that accept credit card payments adopt the data security standard. So that's called the PCI DSS. And they must be in compliance with that standard. And one of the requirements is regarding the guest Wi-Fi service. And the data security standard specifies that either the guest Wi-Fi service is connected to a different internet service that is not in any way connected to the hotel's computers, or else the guest Wi-Fi service is connected through a firewall which adopts the PCI DSS requirements in order to connect those guests to the same network service that the hotel business computers are connected to. And so guest internet gateways, all gateways, have a PCI DSS compliance firewall to protect the business. Now, a lot of smaller businesses are not aware of this problem. many smaller businesses, coffee bars or bed and breakfast, that type of thing, simply put a wireless access point connected to the same network, and any person who connects to that network can get access to the point of sale terminal. Now, it need not be somebody who is actually on the premises, because a lot of mobile devices have what we call Trojan viruses installed that give remote access to that device by criminals. And so when that device is connected to the hotel network, a criminal can actually access remotely from anywhere in the world to maybe plant a virus in that network. And so businesses must take extreme care when designing networks in order to protect systems like point of sale terminals. Some hospitality businesses require temporary Wi-Fi for events at this stage. A lot of remote hospitality businesses like campgrounds, RV parks might stage an event. It could be a music concert or some similar type of event. It could be a special event at a beach for guests who are going to have dinner on the beach. There are many different types of applications that require temporary Wi-Fi, and this can be done with guest internet products. Access to the internet can either be through a 4G or 5G network, or if that's not available, it can be through a satellite network, such as Starlink. And so these networks can be powered from a battery and can give several hours of internet access. So the guest internet products, it could be guest internet wireless products, can provide Wi-Fi access for the guest. One aspect of managing the guest Wi-Fi in a hospitality business is that the property management system, which manages the guest check-ins, the inventory, also manages the guest Wi-Fi. And so it's possible to configure a PMS system to create the access code for the guest when the guest checks in, give that access code to the guest along with the room number, and the guest uses that code to access the internet until the point where the guest checks out. And when the checkout process happens, the property management system will tell the Wi-Fi system to delete that code. And so that code is no longer valid. All guest internet products have an API which allows the integration with the property management system. And so the integration is very straightforward. The property management system obviously requires configuration by the company that provides the support. The hotel has no access to that, but if they call in the company, then they can add the Wi-Fi administration process. And many of the PMS systems also have this feature in order to generate the guest Wi-Fi. This can be extended to any other type of application. For example, we have customers who develop software, operate software for campground reservation systems, where somebody makes the reservation a few months before the date that they're going to be staying at the campground. And so after the reservation, they receive the gate code, so they can check in any time of day or night, and also the Wi-Fi code, so they have access to the internet as soon as they arrive at the destination. And this type of integration is done through the cloud API. And so a cloud-based reservation system can communicate with the cloud-based Wi-Fi management the guest internet provides in order to get the code for that guest. This diagram illustrates the process of access to the API server that's on the premises, like the property management system, can communicate with the API on the gateway. A property management system might be cloud-based, and so it has the option of communicating with the API on the gateway or communicating with the cloud API. And so many cloud-based systems prefer to communicate with the guest internet cloud-based API, which is basically easy to use. Now, there are alternatives to providing guests with the internet access code. One option is the printing on demand using the GIS TP1 printer. Now, this printer can be installed behind the front desk check-in. It uses standard thermal paper, 58mm thermal paper, and is connected to the guest internet controller. Now, the software includes the interface to print the guest tickets. And so a small tablet can have up to 10 buttons. Each button has maybe a different duration of stay, or maybe has a higher speed internet for a VIP customer. So when the guest checks in, the person behind the front desk taps a button and the printer produces the receipt with the access code. An alternative for some hospitality locations is to print access codes on vouchers and give those to the guests. And so a standard letter printer can be used to print sheets of vouchers with access codes. It prints 16 per sheet in a 4x4 format. These can be cut up and given to the guest if the business requires to provide this type of service. Now, a little bit about the guest internet cloud management system. This is a cloud-based software that Guest Internet provides for all customers. It's a service that's free to use. It's included with every Guest Internet gateway. And so a business that has several gateways or even one gateway can remotely manage and monitor that gateway. If the business has several gateways, for example, a hotel chain, then they can be included as part of a group. And so the group can be managed and monitored, which facilitates the management of the Wi-Fi service in many locations. The management of this system can be made from a central IT department or made from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. The guest internet cloud is also very popular with managed service providers. These are businesses that install the network infrastructure in a hotel and manage that network infrastructure for the hotel. And so they can have remote access to make any configuration change, and also they can look for alerts, and if any type of component fails, they can repair that component very quickly. Large-scale projects can use the cloud group management system so that gateways can be stacked to provide a much higher throughput. For example, the diagram shows 4 gateways, each with a 1 gigabit fiber access, and many wireless access points can be connected to the gateways and provide a service for thousands of people. Now, I'll explain a little bit about the guest internet product software configuration so that you can see how easy this configuration is to do. So a quick summary of the guest internet characteristics. You see we have a wide range of products for different applications, but they all basically work the same. Some high performance products have a few more features, the smaller products a few less features. And so the products are very simple to install, and you'll see that when I go through the presentation here. The graphic user interface is very intuitive, easy to understand, and the only skill that's required is the ability to operate a computer. The products work with any type of network product, including Wi-Fi network product. There are several methods for user authentication. We're monitoring network access and use. We can supervise users, and we have the firewall, which protects our business. We monitor equipment for failure and send out alerts. We have multi-WAN with load balance. We have a feature called port forwarding, which allows remote access to the wireless access points to configure them, which is very interesting for managed service providers. We can set up multi-segmented networks using the VLAN feature on the Pro products. And finally, the free cloud service that can be used with any product. This page shows a summary of the gateway features and a summary of the cloud features. The presentation here is not an extensive presentation. We have other presentations which train service people for all the features. This is going to give you a quick summary of the essential features for the hospitality application. So when we first connect a guest internet product, we see the setup wizard, and this allows us to get the system working very quickly. The first step is to check internet access. The guest internet must be configured with internet access, and that's shown by the green icon at the top right of the page. If we have no internet access, then we have to identify what the problem might be and solve that. The first step is to select the time zone. This is important for the calculation of duration of each code, because the guest internet units take the time from the time servers that are out there on the internet, but they must know the time zone in order to have the correct timing for the access codes. We also set a password, which should be a strong password, upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and special symbols. The login page is auto-generated very simply. We select the background image, we provide the business information, including the business website, and we put any of the messages that we want to provide for the guest. The next step is the guest access control. Although we have several different login methods, access control methods, we show two here. The unlimited access will generate a login page that has a button that says, I agree to the terms and conditions. The controlled access provides a login page that has a box for an access code. And we have an additional box there where we can provide instructions for people on how to use the system. When that's completed, we hit the reboot button and we're ready to go. Next, we log in as the administrator using the administrator password that we created during the setup wizard. And the first page we see is the system information, or we call this the dashboard page. So we have 4 colored panels that give us fast access to reports, and we have some information which is important, such as the model and the current firmware version. If somebody wants to have access to a support ticket, we always require that the current firmware version is provided along with the serial number. The first step is to activate cloud management, because we're going to see how to use the cloud management service. So that is on the advanced settings. We check the box and click the button to change the settings. Next, we can customize the login page. We have the auto-generated login page that you saw with the setup wizard. We can upload a background photo if we wish to personalize the login page. We can design and upload a custom login page using HTML. And we can go further. We can design an advanced custom login page that is actually a walled garden. It's integrated with the business website. Now, Guest Internet provides a login page simulator for those people who want to develop their own custom login page. It's not necessary to have a Guest Internet product. Use our servers in order to check out the login page design. And so we have on the login page settings, the three basic options: use the wizard, custom background, and custom login page. The link is shown there for the login page simulator. If we want to upload a background, then that background has to be in JPG format and must not exceed 196 kbytes. In fact, the smaller the size, the faster the login page will be to load. A custom background looks like this. For example, a marina might upload the photo of the marina, and so the login page box is superimposed on the photograph of the marina. Uploading a custom login page is very easy. Once we've tested it using the simulator, then we upload it using the login page settings. And here are examples of custom login pages. The one on the left is a resort with a walled garden type login page. And on the right is a restaurant chain, which also has a walled garden login page. We provide login page templates. We have several different templates that developer can download and use those as a basis to develop a custom login page. Another method of creating the custom login page is to take the business web page and actually modify that in order to use it for a custom login page. The only change is one HTML line, which includes the login box. We would like to have the failure monitoring active, and that's done on the monitoring and alerting page. We need the MAC address, IP address, and also a device name with information for each device we want to monitor. Now, each wireless access point has a user interface to manage the wireless access point. And this is programmable. We can change it. And so we have to give each of the monitoring devices a unique IP, which is inside the LAN subnet range, but outside the DHCP range. And so for many devices, it might be necessary to make adjustments to the DHCP range. This is all documented in the manual, by the way, which can be downloaded. So this is a more technical aspect of configuration, but very easy to implement. In addition, we need to configure the email, and we have two options. One is using a local SMTP service that might be provided by the ISP, and also using our cloud service. And so we can send emails through the Guest Internet cloud. Let's now move on to the Guest Internet cloud configuration. You'll see this is also very easy. The cloud can monitor and manage an unlimited number of different sites. There's no limit to that number. And we have customers with even hundreds or thousands of sites that are being managed. So the procedure to begin using the Guest Internet cloud service: first, create a cloud account, and we need the serial number or product ID of the first Guest Internet product. We can add subsequent serial numbers where we have multiple products. We want to configure failure monitoring, create a group, add gateway products to that group, configure roaming. In some cases, we want to roam between different sites, and we can do that. We want to design the voucher if we want to provide vouchers for our guests. And if we do, then we create access codes and print the access code vouchers. This page shows the creation of a cloud account. There's the web address. We just need to identify the model number of the product from the drop-down menu and also put in the hotspot ID or product serial number. And then the business information is provided, and last but not least, click the button to create an account. You'll be sent an email with the password to use, and then that password is used to log into the account and then subsequently changed to another password. So once we log back into the account, we can add more gateways by clicking on the Gateway tab, select the Add Gateway box, and add as many hotspot IDs as we want, maybe 10 or 100 or 1,000. And each time we just click on Add Gateway. We want to also add a gateway to a group, and so we create a group and then add that gateway to a group for management. Another part of the cloud we want to configure is the monitoring. And so we want to monitor each of the gateways. We want to put there the email address that the alert will be sent to you if one of the gateways fails. And we also have a time factor where the cloud will wait for a certain number of minutes before sending out the alert. It might be that there's some temporary interruption, and so we don't want to send out alerts during that time. But for example, if we wait 5 minutes and the device does not respond, then we want to be able to send out alerts after that time. If we want to print vouchers, then first of all, we need to design the voucher, and that's done in the code ticket settings. So we add the title, might be the name of the hospitality business, upload a logo, and then we provide the instructions for use. And so all the instructions that the guest needs are printed on the voucher. And then finally, we have a box to check for the time, which is optional to display on the voucher. This is what the vouchers look like. On the right, we have a sheet, a letter sheet with vouchers printed. And on the left, we see the fields that are printed on the voucher. And you'll note there the access code is an alphanumeric code, a 6-digit code. Now, when we want to print the vouchers, first of all, we select a group that we're going to print the vouchers for. We then go to the codes printing with the group selected, and we specify the characteristics of the code. If we want to print multiple vouchers, then it has to be a random code. We do have other options. For example, we can print customized codes if that's required. We have the expiration time, which is the duration of the code after first use. We want to identify how many codes to create, and that can be a number between 1 and 10,000. You'll see their usage. You can specify how many users can use the code simultaneously. Now, if a family of 4 are checking into a hotel room, then you might want to provide 4 users so that people can use the same code. We also have the download speed and upload speed, which can be set for the code, and also download and upload data limits. And then we click on the Create Codes button. So once we click on the Create Codes button, we see the list of codes, and then we have an option to download CSV file or print code file. So if we want to download these codes into a file for a different type of printing service, we can do that. Otherwise, we click on the print codes file, and then the operating system that we're using on our computer, maybe Windows with the Chrome browser, opens the window, and then we send that to the local printer. That page will differ according to the type of computer and browser. And then once we've printed the codes, we chop them up and we can hand those out to guests. The cloud has a very comprehensive monitoring system that can store a history of data. And this is very useful, for example, because we can identify if our internet connection is getting congested. And we want to avoid this because this will disrupt the internet service for the guests if the connection becomes congested. So we can monitor the use of the WAN circuit. And if necessary, we can request the ISP to increase the speed or get a second ISP in order to add more speed to the system. Finally, a quick review of how the guest internet system works. This is a block diagram. Some people ask us about this and are interested to understand how it works. The gray area is the gateway, the guest internet gateway. And you can see that it's got a captive portal page. You can accept credit card payments or codes, or simply agree to the terms and conditions. And so we can verify the code. It might be in the local database or it might be in the cloud database. And then we initiate the timer for that code. Finally, we apply the characteristics of the code, which will be the maximum data speeds, the number of users, and the firewall will control that. We also have the API and status monitor, the application program interface, which integrates with third-party systems, the status monitor, where the cloud can monitor the status of the gateway. You can see also down at the bottom right, we can connect a computer to the gateway and administrate the configuration and also print access codes. At the top right, you'll see another admin computer connected to the cloud, which we can also print access codes. So we can either manage a gateway locally by connecting a computer to it, or once we've configured the gateway, we manage all our gateways through the cloud service. And so this diagram illustrates a network with multiple gateways. When we log into our cloud service, we see each of the gateways. We can look at the gateways in detail, and we can look at the groups of gateways. Finally, just to note that you can see a lot of online documentation on our website. We have documentation in English and Spanish. You can download manuals in PDF format, download data sheets and application notes, and also training courses. We also provide free trouble ticket technical support for customers through our website, and we try to reply within 1 business day. We also accept requests for software upgrades and RMA in the case that a product should be defective, and we provide a 1-year warranty. Well, that comes to the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching. If you have questions, you can contact us at the email address there or the number, and also follow our social media, please, because we publish daily information about products and services that we provide. So look out for other videos on our website, and please keep in touch, and any questions that you have in future, you can send them to us and our engineers will respond to you.